Nueces County declares a local disaster over severe drought and water shortages. Texas officials have rejected a $140 million loan for a Corpus Christi water project. And a Banquete native killed in the 1941 Pearl Harbor attack will be buried with full military honors. This is South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Thank you for joining me. It's Thursday, April 30th. This morning, Nueces County officials have declared a local disaster due to worsening drought conditions. 3 News reports that county officials made the declaration as the Nueces River watershed remains in an exceptional drought condition. The city of Corpus Christi is currently under Stage 3 water restrictions and is expected to move closer to a Level 1 water emergency in the coming months if conditions continue. The state of Texas had already issued a drought-related disaster proclamation that includes Nueces County, allowing for emergency response measures if needed. The order takes effect immediately and will remain in place until the county judge formally lifts it. As Texas cities compete for limited water sources, Corpus Christi is denied a $140 million low-interest loan for a proposed desalination plant. The Nueces River Authority, or NRA, applied for the loan for the proposed Harbor Island desalination plant earlier this year through the Texas Water Development Board. NRA Deputy Executive John Chisholm said that the project was one of several rejected by the board due to limited funds, along with being outranked by other Texas projects. The loan would have jump-started planning and design for the desal plant, which would be located on Harbor Island, but intake water and discharge brine via a pipeline extending 2 miles offshore. Chisholm said the NRA will turn to private investors and potential federal support for the project. The decision comes at a time when Corpus Christi could run out of water as early as next year. Tomorrow, a Banquete native who died during the 1941 attack on Pearl Harbor will be buried in Corpus Christi. Clyde McMeans was aboard the USS California during the December 7, 1941 attack. He will be buried with full military honors in Corpus Christi at Coastal Bend State Veterans Cemetery at 1 p.m. Friday. Several South Texas hospitals were named to Forbes' first ever top hospitals list. The ranking reviewed more than 5,400 hospitals nationwide. Only about 14% earned a 4- or 5-star rating. Those honors go to regional hospitals like Corpus Christi Medical Center, Knapp Medical Center in Weslaco, Rio Grande Regional Hospital in McAllen, and South Texas Health System, Edinburgh. In state news, a court hearing continued that will determine if Texas hemp stores can keep selling smokable forms of cannabis. A temporary order allowing for their sale expires Friday afternoon. KUT's Nathan Bernier reports in Austin on testimony from a military veteran who invested his life savings to open a hemp business.
On this second day of the hearing, plaintiffs brought in Iraq War veteran Kenneth Berner. He owns 2 hemp shops in the Houston area. Berner said many of his fellow vets turn to smokable products because they kick in faster than edibles.
If a veteran is facing a decision, I would imagine anybody for that matter, on whether or not to keep going, they may not have the luxury of waiting 25 minutes for relief to kick in before they stop thinking that way. And so inhalables are truly the only instant acting hemp product.
On Thursday, the Texas Attorney General's office is calling its only witness. Then the judge must decide whether to grant a longer-term freeze of the regulations, and that will determine if hemp stores can keep selling smokable products after 5 p.m. Friday. I'm Nathan Bernier in Austin.
Texas advocates and families pleaded during a public hearing Wednesday with the state to improve capacity and access in state hospitals that provide psychiatric care. Paul Barrows is a retired federal law enforcement officer who spent more than a decade navigating the state's mental health system on behalf of his son. He says the system has gaps that contribute to the criminalization of mental health issues.
So the result is the county jails have become the default long-term care facilities for Texans with severe mental illness.
Texas is working on a long-range plan that would guide state hospitals for the next 6 years. State officials expect to release a final report in August. Hispanic people experience the worst health outcomes, access, and quality in Texas. That's according to a new data analysis released Wednesday. KERA's Abigail Ruman reports.
Texas ranked 45th out of 48 states plus D.C. for health system performance for the Hispanic population. Kristen Kolb is a research associate with the Commonwealth Fund, a private foundation focused on health equity in the U.S. that put out the report. She says researchers analyzed the most recent data available on metrics that measure healthcare access, quality, and use of services, as well as health outcomes.
The Hispanic population had some of the lowest scores achieved in the report, particularly in a handful of southern and southeastern states, including Arkansas, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Researchers warn health disparities could worsen as policy changes that could increase the uninsured rate go into effect. I'm Abigail Ruman in Dallas.
And festivities for Corpus Christi's Buck Days are now underway. One of this weekend's highlights invites the best bull riders for a chance to qualify for the Professional Bull Riding World Finals in Fort Worth.
Making a move for the #1 spot. Come on, Marcus.
Saddle up, South Texas. Professional bull riding is back at Buck Days. Professional Bull Riding, or PBR, kicks off the final stop of its Pendleton Whiskey Velocity Tour, or PWVT Finals, with 2 nights of action at the Hilliard Center in downtown Corpus Christi. The championships, part of this year's Buck Days Festival, cap off the PWVT's 25-event season. More than 40 of the sport's top qualifying riders will saddle up this weekend. After 2 rounds, the top 10 riders with the highest aggregate scores attempt one final bull for a shot at the event title and $150,000.
We told you that nobody was better than 1 year ago. Marcus Mast, it's time to do it again.
Marcus Mast, the 2025 Velocity Tour champion, looks to repeat history after returning from a short-lived retirement.
It's been a long road, and this is the final stop, so it's just doing the same thing, you do every day. It's just, you got to focus on one bull at a time and let the chips fall where they may, because you can't decide what everybody else is going to do, but you can try your best to determine your own fate.
The Middlebury, Indiana native has accumulated over 150 rides and more than a dozen career event wins, and he hopes to collect his second PWVT championship in Corpus Christi.
There's always, that struggle in the back of your head that nobody wins it back-to-back or nobody's won it twice. So the doubt's always there, but all you can do is the best you can do and give it everything you got every time you climb on the back of one.
The PWVT Finals also gives riders a chance to qualify for the PBR World Finals in Fort Worth.
That is one of the toughest bull riders we have ever seen in our sport. And right now, if you like what he did, let's pay him off right about now.
You can read the full story at our website, kedt.org. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.